class. There we go. So let's begin by finding a comfortable seat. And that can look like many things in your body, right? So in my body, it's pretty comfortable to sit with my legs folded, but if that is not comfortable in your body, please feel free to prop a leg up, sit with your legs out. You can even sit on a block or a cushion to make this a little more accessible. And then once you've found that comfortable seat, allow your body to come to stillness and simply bring your hands to your heart, close your eyes, and begin to cultivate some nice, deep belly breaths. And as you slow down into the space of your practice, simply invite all of yourself to be present here. Now, as you breathe, let's begin to find some movement to go along with that breath. So on this next inhale, roll your spine out nice and long. Sit tall on the mat. And exhale, soften, melt your shoulders, soften through your hips. And then we find that lifting, rising, lengthening energy again on the inhale. Continuing that connection of breath and movement, on your exhale, release your hands down by your sides. And on your inhale, sweep your fingertips out to the sides, up to the sky. Exhale, hands through heart center. Inhaling again, expansive energy. And exhaling through heart center. Just a couple more sun breaths right here. And then as we come through heart center, we're going to let that left hand fall to the mat. Inhale, sweep your right arm across, up and over, and exhale that hand down. Inhaling the left across, up and over, and down. Inhaling right across, and left. And we simply continue to follow this pattern as we begin to open through the shoulder, through the chest, maybe feeling a little bit of freedom in our side waist, in our back. Now, as you breathe, as you move, you have choices, right? You can stay right here in this flow. You're also welcome to begin tuning into your body and just noticing what kinds of movement would feel good. So if you'd like to alter the pattern, to change things, to introduce a different stretch, or maybe linger in one particular part of that stretch, feel free to do so. Begin to customize this space for what your body most needs right now. And then gently and gradually make your way back to seated. Once more, drawing hands to heart center. Close your eyes and set your intention for your practice this morning. Once that intention is set, simply release your hands down to the mat. Sweep your feet around behind you. Let's make our way to tabletop. And let's begin getting some really good movement through our spines here. So on your inhale, roll your heart forward, tip your tailbone to the sky. And then exhale, coil your belly in and drop the crown of your head. Inhaling, rolling open. And exhale to coil. Now, if this feels perfect, if cat-cow is really addressing some points of tension, you stay right here. You're also welcome to begin adjusting this pattern. So maybe we introduce some freeform movement. Sometimes that's circular movements with the rib cage. It could be shifting forward or back, side to side. The whole point is simply to begin loosening up the muscles of the back, addressing any points of tension or discomfort. And then find your way back to your neutral spine, coming back to tabletop. Draw your knees a little closer together underneath your hips so that they're centered under your body. On your inhale, extend your right leg long behind you and lower your toe down to the mat. Once you've made a nice stable contact point, begin to press into your right heel, just to stretch out that right calf. Now remember, as always in this space, you have options, so you can sustain that stretch. You can also find a slow rolling motion, not a bounce, mind you. Think of the slow roll of the sea, right? Just into and out. And then lower your right knee down to meet your left. On your inhale, extend your left leg long behind you and lower your toe. Same thing, begin to press into that left heel, stretch out the calf, keeping your breath long and slow and smooth. And then release, lowering that left knee back down to the mat. Now from here, we're going to meet in forward fold. So you can walk your hands back to stand. You can step your feet forward. Once you arrive there, simply soften into this fold. Let it be messy. You can find movement if that would feel good. Try to relax your head and your neck. We tend to carry a lot of tension right here along the back of the neck. Try to let that space loosen up. Relax your jaw. If you're a jaw clencher like I am, just move your jaw around a little bit. And then come back to stillness at the center. Bend your knees. Exhale, roll your way all the way up to standing. Inhale, rise and open. Sweep your fingertips to the sky. And exhale, hands come to heart center. Release your hands down by your sides. If you're not already there, make your way toward the top of your mat and let's set up our first mountain pose of practice. So as always, let this first one be conscious. Root your feet. You can even rock around a little bit to find exactly that right balance point where your body feels centered, feels stable. Bring your hands to your belly. Give your belly some love. Appreciating those digestive juices, those strong muscles that help hold us upright. And then find that little spot just beneath your navel, that triangle of muscles. Draw them in and up. Feel your tailbone lengthen. Shoulders roll back and down and palms face forward. On your inhale, sweep your fingertips to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. Bend your knees enough that your fingertips can touch down to a set of blocks or to the mat. On your inhale, step your right foot back to lunge and lower your right knee all the way down. So as we set up our nice safe lunge here, we want that left foot forward. We want to have a nice alignment between the left knee and the ankle. So you really want a straight line here. If you find that your ankle is far back, simply lift it and set it forward. As you stabilize, you can bring your hands to either side of that front leg. Inhale to look forward. On your exhale, begin to shift back so your hips are drawing you back. That left leg begins to stretch out. Your toes might lift up off the mat. Inhaling, shifting forward, melt your right hip toward the mat. So we feel that hip flexor stretching out. And then exhale, shifting back. Inhaling forward to lunge, melt the hip. And exhaling, shifting back, stretching out the back of the left leg. Let your next inhale bring you forward to lunge. Bring your knees to beneath your hips. If you're using blocks, just walk them out a little bit. Find your tabletop. Walk your hands one handspan forward and shift your shoulders over your wrists, finding your half plank. Now, of course, your handspan length may be different than mine. So ideally what we want for half plank is our knees, hips, and shoulders to be in one long line. We want to keep drawing that navel toward the spine, tailbone stays long. Press the earth away, and then on an exhale, bend your elbows and float that half plank down to the mat. Walk your toes back, create space. Bring your fingertips wide. Begin to roll one shoulder and then the other. Freeing your spine through creative Cobra. Remembering that little clicking sensations that even sound sometimes are very normal here, particularly in the Yoga Over 40 Club, which I am in. Return your hands to beneath your shoulders. Press your way back to tabletop, or if you have one in your practice, you are also welcome to take downward facing dog here. Now, wherever you happen to have landed, find a little bit of movement, okay? So if you are in tabletop, you're in cat-cow or freeform spinal movement. If you're in down dog with me, walk it out. Pedal one foot and then the other. Bending the knees, dropping one hip and then the other, just finding ease. And then wherever you happen to be, come to stillness, stabilize. Inhale to look forward. Exhale to step your right foot forward between your hands. And if your back knee's lifted, go ahead and lower it to the mat. So we're going to set up that same safe lunge with the right foot forward this time. Grab your blocks if you were using them. We want to align with that right shin. Now just check in, make sure that your right knee and right ankle are aligned. We want the knee directly over the ankle. On your inhale, look forward. Exhale, shift back. This time that right leg starts to stretch out. And again, your right toes might rise a little bit. Inhale forward to lunge, melt your left hip. And exhale, shift it back. And we just follow the breath. Let your next inhale bring you all the way forward to lunge. Turn your left toes under to lift your back knee. Look forward and step together to fold. Soften into that forward fold. Take a moment to fully release. Relax the back of the head and the neck. Bend your knees. Exhale. Roll your way all the way up to standing. Inhale, rise and open. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Take a moment here to just reposition a little bit. So if you need to reset your mountain pose, no problem. Remember, strong core, open heart. That spine is nice and long. On your inhale, sweep your fingertips to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. This time on your inhale, halfway rise. Your hands come to the shins or the thighs. Roll your shoulders back and down. Press your hips away so we feel a nice long flat back. Exhale to soften. Inhale, halfway rise. Exhale. One more time, halfway. And exhale, bend your knees, plant your fingertips. Inhale to step your left foot back to lunge. Lower that left knee down. So we're going to find the same flowing lunge, but we're going to take it a little deeper this time. On your exhale, as you shift back, really let those right toes rise, and you might even walk your hands back to create more of a stretch in that right leg. Inhale forward, melt your hip. And exhale, shift back. Remember, you can walk your blocks back with you, right? They move. Let your next inhale bring you all the way forward to lunge. Knees come beneath the hips. Walk the blocks out to the side. If you're using them, tabletop. Walk your hands, one hand span forward. Shift your shoulders over your wrists, finding half plank again. Or if you would like to turn the heat up in your practice today, you are welcome to turn your toes under and lift your knees for full plank. Press the earth away, keeping your belly strong on your exhale. Bend your elbows and float your way down. Touch down, walk your toes back. Bring your fingertips wide. Let's roll it out. Creative Cobra. Return your hands to beneath your shoulders, press back, tabletop or downward facing dog, yogi's choice. Find a little movement and then come into stability, right? Just get into a nice, comfortable position. On your inhale, look forward. Exhale to step your left foot forward between your hands and lower your right knee down to the mat. So let's set up lunge, that left foot forward. So grab your blocks if you're using them. Again, this time we're going to take this lunge a little deeper. On your inhale, look forward. Exhale, shift back. Let those left toes rise. You might even walk your hands back. Inhale forward to lunge. Melt the right hip. And exhaling back. Let your next inhale bring you all the way forward to lunge. Turn your right toes under to lift your back knee. Look forward and step together and fold, soften, surrender. If you're rocking, come to stillness. Bend your knees, exhale, roll your way up. Inhale, rise and open. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Check back in with your mountain pose. Reposition if you need to. On your inhale, rise and open. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway rise. We remember this from before, right? We lengthen the spine, flattening the back, pressing the tailbone away. Exhale to soften, bend your knees. Plant your fingertips. Inhale to step your right foot back to lunge. Lower your right knee down. Now this time we're going to walk our hands up that left knee. Now if you find that this is an unstable place to be, grab a block and place it by your right hip so that you have a nice safe space to touch down if you need a little bit of support here. On your inhale, sweep your fingertips forward and up. Exhaling, opening out. Inhale. And exhale. Really feel that stretch across the chest. And on this next exhale, both hands come down to the mat. Set your blocks to the side. Tabletop. Walk your hands, one hand span forward. You know what? Actually, I meant to do something else. Welcome back, tabletop. Good morning. Position your hips over your knees. Now keep them high as you walk your hands forward and begin to melt your heart for puppy dog pose. Now remember, this can be a little intense on the shoulder joint. So if you're experiencing discomfort, one modification is to bend your elbows and bring your forearms to the mat. That'll still get you a nice stretch in the back and in the heart and in the shoulders without quite as much pressure. And then roll your way all the way out and down. Come on down to the mat. From here, walk your toes back, create Sphinx. Now this time, let's find our way to Sphinx pose. Elbows come beneath the shoulders. We really want to feel a nice, strong, stable base here. So we want those elbows directly beneath the shoulders, arms coming directly out from the elbows. As always, my sort of visual reference is little Lego dude arms. If you think of like maybe action figure arms with that hard right angle, that's what we're going for. Press into your forearms and your palms to feel a nice buoyancy in the shoulders. Turn your toes under. Draw your awareness to where your belly's resting on the mat. And on your exhale, begin to draw your way up. So maybe we stay with the knees touching. Maybe we float into forearm plank. We just cultivate some strength right here for a few breaths. And then on your next exhale, we roll it down. Knees, quads, hips. Make a pillow with your hands. Rest your head. Rock your hips from side to side. Let it go. Return your hands to beneath your shoulders, your fingertips to the mat, and press your way back. Tabletop or downward facing dog, yogi's choice. On your next inhale, step your right foot forward to lunge. Lower your left knee down if it's lifted. Let's set up a nice, safe, comfortable lunge, making sure that right knee is directly over the right ankle, and then walk your hands up. All right, so same modification. If this is unstable, grab a block and just put it by your hip. On your inhale, sweep your fingertips forward and up. Exhale, up and out. On this next exhale, both hands come down to the mat. Turn your left toes under, lift that back knee and look forward. On your exhale, step together and fall. Full lunar pause right here. Let's rock from side to side if that feels good. Turn your head from side to side. Move your jaw, soften your brow, whatever needs to wiggle a little bit, get those wiggles out. And then come back to stillness at the center. Bend your knees. Exhale. Roll your way all the way up to standing. Inhale, rise and open. Exhale, hands to heart center. Release your hands down by your sides. And for core cultivation today, we're going to come all the way down to our bellies on the mat. So make your way down to the earth. And just come down so your front side is comfortably resting against the mat. All right, so once you have found your way down, bring your toes the distance of the mat. Now, become aware of where your navel is resting on the mat, and I'd like you to just draw it up a little bit. That helps protect our lower back anytime we're down here and doing work that's going to target muscles in the back. So on your next inhale, point your toes away, reach away. Feel long first. Perfect. Okay, go ahead and relax everything down. Draw your fingertips to beneath your shoulders. Now, drawing in on that navel, roll your shoulders back and down. Release the pressure in your fingertips. We're just going to flutter those by our sides and relax down. And now we'll put it all together. Roll your shoulders back and down, draw the navel in and float. Toes are reaching away, fingertips are elevating. Inhale, sweep your hands in front of you, toes come together. Exhale, toes come wide, elbows come to the sides. Inhaling nice and long. Exhaling, opening. It's almost like a swimming motion. And then on this next exhale, we're going to release. Bring your hands down to the mat. Make a pillow with your hands. Rest your head and rock your hips from side to side. Let it go. From here, we're going to press our way back, coming up to tabletop, and then sweeping the feet around in front of us. It's so we can set up our V seat. We're working a little bit with some of the steps on the way to boat pose. So for Navasana, for boat pose, we want a comfortable V seat, which means we want our feet firmly planted, nice deep bend in the knees, and we want to be sitting forward on our sits bones, which means we're not rounded through the spine, right? The spine is nice and long. We can lift the breastbone easily. Once you've found your starting position, bring your fingertips behind the nooks of your knees. On your exhale, begin to shift back. Feel your core engage. You might shake a little bit. Inhaling forward. And exhale back. And remember, we want to keep long through the back. This entire time we stay lifted. Let your next inhale bring you all the way forward and just fold over your legs. Let it go. Rock from side to side. All right, so we're going to set that one up one last time. Last core cultivator today. So options. You can stay with your fingertips behind the nooks of the knees, rocking into and out of this core cultivator. If this is cultivating and strengthening, you stay right here. If you'd like to take this a little deeper, float your fingertips. On your exhale, begin to hinge back from the hips, maybe finding a little bit more movement. Inhaling forward. And again, we just stay very aware of the muscles of the back here. We really want to keep that spine nice and long. So if you can almost envision your back as being like a board, so it doesn't move. And then fold all the way forward. Let it go, rock from side to side. Find ease. From here, we're going to make our way all the way to standing. You can get there however you like to. While you do that, I'm going to adjust my camera a little. All right, so this class is all about chest and back and heart openers. Starting in Tadasana, we're going to root the feet, feeling strong through the core. On your inhale, sweep your fingertips to the side. On your exhale, sweep your hands behind you. Interlace your fingers, roll your shoulders back and down. Now, before we do that full extension, that lift, I'd like you to re-engage your belly. So once again, feel your navel drawing to your spine. Then on that inhale, complete the movement. Lengthen your arms, lift your heart, protecting your lower back by keeping your belly strong. Exhale, soften a little bit. Inhaling, rolling open, lifting the heart. And exhaling to soften. And release. So we've stretched the front of the chest. Let's do the back as well. We'll do a little bit of work with the eagle arms for the upper body. So what I'd like you to do is find yoga straight jacket first. So right arm over, left arm under, find your shoulders. Lower your elbows all the way down. Now from here, we're going to roll the shoulders back and down to their lowest point. Elbows are at their lowest point. Option one for this space. On your inhale, lift just the tips of your elbows, feeling that nice stretch between your shoulder blades. Exhale to lower. And inhale to lift. Now, depending on your shoulders, maybe you stay right here. Maybe you add on a little bit and we bring our arms to eagle. So we bring the backs of the arms together. You find the thumb or maybe the palm here. Roll your shoulders down again, so we find the same starting point, and then the movement is basically the same. Inhaling, lifting just the elbows. Exhaling to soften. Inhale to lift. And exhale to lower. So whichever position you happen to be in, we're going to find just a couple more breaths here. And release. Let's feel that on the other side. So this time, left arm over, right arm under. And again, we start with yoga straight jacket. Roll your shoulders down. Elbows are nice and low. Inhale to lift your elbows. Exhale to lower. So you know where we're going now, right? You can stay right here in this flow. You're also welcome to move toward eagle arms on this side, and then find that same lifting and lowering pattern with the elbows. It all just depends on your back and your arms and shoulders. One isn't better than the other. They're just different. And release. Roll it out a little bit. Before we move into our warrior sequence, let's do a little bit of stretching of our fascia. So what I'd like you to do is lift your right hand, turn that palm to face away from you. Now, press into the heel of your right hand. This immediately will start feeling a little strange. So you can keep your hand pressed directly out to the side, or you can begin to track that right hand behind you a little bit. And you'll notice that that fascia stretch changes in terms of how you feel it and where. So you might find the best spot where you're getting the most stretch. Also, if this is too intense, just bend your elbow and it will release the tension from the fascia stretch. And release, lower your right arm down, wiggle it out, because that feels weird. And let's feel it on the other side. Lift your left hand, turn the palm to face away, and press into the heel of your left hand. So same choices, right? You can stay with that arm extended. You can track it behind you a little bit. And just notice where you most need that stretch. Again, remembering that if this is ever too much, bend your elbow, and it will take some of the pressure out of that stretch. And release, let it go. Yeah, ow. Okay, so from here, let's come to the top of the mat. And we're simply going to step back for our warrior work today. So let's step that left foot back so that that right foot is forward. And we're going to work in warrior one or high lunge. We'll set up warrior one first. So in warrior one, we want the hips and the heart facing the short side of the top of the mat. Bend your right knee. So our heart is nice and open, we're feeling tall and lengthened. That left foot can be either dialed out to the side or dialed in a little bit more. It just depends on what feels better in your left calf. So experiment with a couple different foot positions and see how you feel. Let's begin with warrior one. On your inhale, sweep your fingertips to the sky. Exhale, sweep behind you. Inhaling, lengthening. And exhale. Now, as you follow this arm pattern, begin to experiment with how far back your arms will go. On this next inhale, interlace your fingers, all except the index finger, and sweep your arms up overhead, draw them behind your ears, relax your shoulders. Check in on that bend in the right knee, making sure it's still present. Now from here, we can lift the breastbone just a bit, finding a baby back bend, engaging the core to protect the lower back. So option one, stay in warrior one for this. Option two, it is a little less stable, but you can pivot on your back foot so it's in tippy toes, and we find crescent lunge. And we just pulse right here. So on that inhale, lift up. Exhaling, sinking down into that cauldron. Inhaling. On this next exhale, sweep your fingertips behind you and interlace. Shoulders roll back and down before you do the full stretch. Remember, engage your core. This is just like when we were standing. And then inhale, lift your heart, lengthen your arms. Exhaling, softening a little bit. Inhaling to lift. So we find that pulse again right here in that beautiful heart opener. and release. Step your left foot in just a little bit, straighten the right leg. Now we're going to set our feet up for pyramid pose. So we want our feet to be firmly planted on the earth with that right foot forward. I always like pyramid pose. If you think about like the walk like the Egyptian thing, right? Everything is very much in a sagittal plane. So both feet are facing forward. They're about a pace apart. On your inhale, sweep your fingertips to the sky. Exhale, sweep them by your sides, press into your palms to lengthen your spine. Now on this next inhale, we keep all of that length, and then exhale, hinge forward from the waist. Reach long when you get to halfway, and then surrender. Fingertips come down to that right leg somewhere. They're going to land on the shin, the thigh, maybe the mat. As you soften into this stretch, begin to draw that left hip forward and the right hip back. And we just breathe right here. Remember, every exhale, we soften into the space that's been created. Every inhale brings a little more length to the spine. And release, bend your knees, exhale, roll your way all the way up to standing, inhale, rise and open, exhale, hands come to heart center, and step together. Come back to your breath, back to your intention, and we'll feel that same sequence on the other side. So we'll release the hands down. This time we're going to step that right foot back. Now, same adjustments for warrior one. We put a nice deep bend in that left knee. We can put that right foot in a couple different positions, so it can be dialed all the way out to the side. I prefer it at about a 45-degree angle. That feels better in my hips and calf, but everyone's body is different. Turn your heart and your hips to the short side, the top of the mat. On your inhale, sweep your fingertips to the sky. Exhaling, sweeping away. And let's begin experimenting with range of motion again, right? We sweep up and back. Exhaling down, reaching away. I always feel a little bit like the prow of a ship when I do this. Maybe that's just me. I've read too many books about Vikings at this point, I think. On your next inhale, interlace your fingers, all except the index finger. Sweep those arms up and back. They come behind the ears. Sink nice and deeply into that left knee. Now engage your belly and lift your heart. So option A, of course, we stay right here in warrior one. Option B, you can pivot on your right foot into tippy toes. And then we find a slightly less stable position to experience crescent lunge. Draw your navel in, inhale, lifting from behind the heart. Remembering that in yoga, back bends come from behind the heart as opposed to in the belly. Exhaling, softening. Inhaling, pulsing up and out. On this next exhale, sweep your fingertips down, interlace. Remember, we engage the belly first. Then on that inhale, lift your heart. Exhaling, feel that pulse. Inhaling, lifting, stretching. And exhaling, standing heart pose in warrior one or in high lunge, depending on where you are. And release. Step your right foot in just a little bit. So we're going to set up pyramid pose with that left foot still forward. So again, we want our feet parallel. They're both facing the short side, the top of the mat. We want about a pace in between our feet. Inhale, sweep your fingertips to the sky. Exhale, sweep your hands down by your sides. Press into your palms, lengthen your spine. Keep all of that as you inhale. And exhale, fold forward. When you get to halfway, reach long and then melt. Fingertips finding that left leg, maybe the thigh, maybe the shin, the foot, or the mat, wherever they've landed is fine. Draw your left hip back and your right hip forward. And just begin to melt into this stretch. So every inhale, we feel length along the spine. Every exhale, we soften just a little bit more. And then from here, we bend both knees. Exhale, roll your way all the way up to standing. Inhale, sweep your fingertips to the sky. Exhale, step together. Hands come to heart center. Come back to your intention. Release your hands down by your sides. Let's make our way all the way down onto the mat, coming to seated once more. I'm just going to adjust my camera real quick. Excuse me. So from your seated position, let's draw the left heel in and extend the right leg nice and long. Turn your heart toward your right foot. So we're just going to keep stretching out the backside of the body here. Inhale, create plenty of length. Exhale, fold forward over that right leg. Now your hands might come to your shin or your thigh, maybe just the earth. Wherever they land is fine. With every inhale, lengthen your spine just a little more. Your heart and your toes want to reach for each other, so you feel that stretch deep in the back. Exhale to soften. Inhaling to lengthen. And then simply roll your way all the way back up to seated. Now from here, let's bend that right knee, and we're going to plant the right foot in front of us for our seated twist. So as always, you have choices. So for your seated twist, you can leave your legs and feet exactly as they are. You are also welcome to take that foot and place it on the outside of the knee. Now, if you've chosen this variation, please make sure your feet are touching down and both sides of your glutes are. So if you're floating on one side, come back to center with that right foot. From here, we're going to sweep our right hand up to the sky and then down to the mat. Plant that hand, roll your right shoulder back and down. Inhale, reach the left hand to the sky. Now this time we turn, drawing the elbow to the knee or the hand to the knee. Begin to turn your heart toward the back of the room. And as always, we keep with the yoga breathing pattern. So every inhale, we feel a little taller. Every exhale, we release into that twist just a little more. Oh man, we might stay here for the next half an hour, y'all. And release. Sweep your hands all the way over to the left, plant your fingertips, and bow. And just softly let your back stretch. Coming back to center, let's switch it out. So we're going to take that right heel in and extend the left leg long. Turn your heart toward that left foot. Inhale, create plenty of length. Exhale, fold forward, single-legged forward fold. Inhale to create length. And exhale to soften. And again, remember, your heart and your toes are reaching toward each other here. So we're feeling a nice deep stretch in the lower back. And then simply roll your way back up to seated. Let's bend that left knee and bring it out in front of us for the seated twist. So again, you have options. You can keep your left foot where it is. You can also cross it over that right knee. Again, making sure that you're not floating if you've chosen that position. Sweep your left hand down to the mat. Roll your shoulder back and down. Reach your right hand to the sky. Now we reach up and over and then into that twist. Elbow to knee or palm to knee, whatever feels better. Begin to turn your heart toward the back of the room. Every inhale lengthening, every exhale softening just a bit. And release. Come back to center. Sweep your hands over to the other side and bow your head. And come back to seated at the center. From here, we're just going to turn so that we can extend our legs long along the mat and just measure out for your Shavasana. So you want your heels to be a comfortable distance on the mat. Once they are, draw your knees in and roll all the way down onto your back. Rock from side to side. Massage your lower back on the mat. You can maybe feel some circles here. I like to take my knees and draw them in big circles. That feels really good along my lower back and hips. Coming to center, to stillness, let's lower the soles of our feet down to the mat just beneath our glutes. Reach your fingertips long. Draw your navel toward your spine. So feel your core nice and strong here. And on your inhale, lift your hips coming up into bridge pose. Exhale to soften a little bit. And inhale to lift. Now we've been working on heart openers all practice. If you would like to walk your arms underneath to create a deeper stretch across the chest and interlace your fingers, feel free to take that modification. We still feel the rise and fall of the breath, lowering and then floating up into bridge. And then make your way out. Walk your shoulders back out if they were under, roll it down, vertebra by vertebra, and draw your knees into your chest. Rock from side to side. Now, if there is any additional movement, any stretch, any asana, anything you would like to feel before we close the flow part of our practice today, take a moment to address that need. So maybe it's a supine twist, maybe it's a fold or an inversion, might be a little time in happy baby, whatever would feel really good, that's what you put right here. And then as you are ready, begin to make your way toward your corpse pose, your Shavasana. Now in traditional corpse pose, of course, the heels are wide, they're the distance of the mat. Shoulders are relaxed and palms face the sky. In many bodies, however, this causes discomfort in the lower back. So if that's you, and it's me as well, bend your knees and plant your feet the distance of the mat. Then let your knees fall together at the center so that your bones are supporting this time of rest. You have lots of options here, of course. You can also take child's pose, you can take supine goddess pose, and seated meditation is always an option as well. So find your optimum position for your Shavasana. And as you settle into this space of rest and integration, allow your body to melt. Notice all of the places where you are in contact with the earth and just soften those points. Relax your jaw. Relax your eyes and your forehead. And simply let go and float. Allow your breath to make space within your body. And begin to find some little movements of your fingertips and your toes. Just bringing yourself back to this day, to this time. Point your toes away and reach your arms up overhead and take a nice deep breath in, full body stretch. Then exhale to draw your knees into your chest and rock from side to side. Eventually find your way all the way over onto your right side and just curl into the posture of the sleeping child. No tension here, let the earth hold you. Take a moment in this space that you have created to come back to your intention again. Breathing it in from your yoga practice. And then as you are ready, press your way back up to seated, finding your way to a comfortable seat. So we're going to be seated for a couple of minutes while we do some yoga breathing exercises. So if you know that sitting with your legs folded or sitting on the mat for a long period of time is uncomfortable, I do invite you to find comfort. So again, remember, you can always sit on a block or on a cushion. You can adjust your legs however you need to. So let's start with one of my favorites, particularly for calming energy, which is alternate nostril breathing. So what I'd like you to do is take your dominant hand, and we're going to bring our peace fingers to the center of our brow and just let them rest right here. Now allow your thumb to rest over one nostril and your ring finger to rest over another. And we're not sealing anything off yet, we're just positioning the hand. Now what we'll do is seal off the right nostril and inhale on the left slowly. Switch it out. The left nostril seals, right one opens, and exhale. Inhale on the right. Switch, seal off, open the left, and exhale. Inhale on the left. Switch it out, open the right. Inhale right. Switch it out, open the left. Inhale left. Switch and right. Inhale right. Switch and left. Let's do a few rounds without me verbally cueing. And on this next one, let's release and breathe normally. So that one can really help balance out your body. It can forcibly slow your rate of respiration down. The next one I'd like to do is just a simple counted breath. So we're going to inhale for 4, hold for 4, exhale for 6, hold for 4. So by lengthening that exhale, of course, we convince our body's parasympathetic nervous system to slow down a little bit more. This is a good example of where your body goes, your mind follows. We can trick our bodies into relaxing. Now, if the count that I give doesn't work for you, the most salient point here is just to make your exhale longer. So take a nice deep breath in, exhale it all the way out. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, hold for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold for 1, 2, 3, 4, and return to a normal respiratory rate. So both of those breath patterns are good for calming and centering. And remember, you can do them anywhere, right? People don't notice if you're standing even in line at the grocery store with your fingers like this. People don't pay attention. So remember, Nadi Shodhana, alternate nostril breathing is always available to you. Counted breath is always available to you. There are even some great little GIFs and animations online to do the counted breath where you inflate, like sort of inhale with the balloon and exhale as it releases. Remember, where the breath goes, the mind follows. It's one of the most profound and useful things to come out of yoga. So, as always, thank you so much for joining me this morning. Let's close our practice today with a round of Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Bring your hands to your heart. Inhale. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me this morning. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Just a brief administrative note. I will not be here on Friday. Please remember that there are a ton of classes up